The next thing we'll look at in this slide is the fact that you see that all the definitions around being persuaded, determined, resolute, all of this is dealing with the mind. In some sense, we talk about the heart also, but it's mainly the mind, right? That we're talking about, a mind that is made up, right? So we need to understand what is the mind, right? Our mind is our thinking faculty and is a part of the soul, right? Our soul contains our mind, right? The heart is the overlap between our soul and our spirit. We'll call the heart, right? It's an overlap place, right? But the mind is fully a part of the soul, right? The mind is made up of two parts, what we call the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, right? Scientists would say that your conscious mind is about 5% of our mind, and the rest of our mind is the unconscious mind is 95% of our mind, right? And that is probably not too far from the truth, because we see that in the analogy to the mind. The computer system is an analogy to the mind, right? The memory that runs your computer in the active mode is a much smaller memory than the memory that runs the whole of the computer on the back end, right? Your computer has two memory, one that is holding all the programs together, that is not active when you're working on the computer, it's working on the back end. And there's another memory that runs your computer that you are using, the active memory, right? The passive memory is bigger and does a whole lot more work than the active memory, right? So the computer is built as an analog to our mind, right? So just as we have what we call the conscious mind and what we call the passive mind, right? Another analog to the mind is the way the plane is flown. A long distance plane is flown, right? There are two ways you can fly the plane. You can either fly the plane on what we call the autopilot, or you can fly the plane where the pilot is actively maneuvering the plane, right? On a transatlantic journey, more than 67% of that journey is driven in the autopilot mode, right? The pilot really just comes when they're trying to change one or two things, maybe change altitude or something, come in and just adjust it. But most of the time it's put on autopilot, right? So it's the same analogy between our conscious mind and our unconscious mind, right? And we'll continue from there tomorrow, God helping us.